Welcome to Soundscape Crusaders,
a music discovery podcast where we pair music with meaning.
Join co-hosts
Nate
and Levi on this journey.
As we dive deep and examine one song an episode,
Discuss what we love about it,
and then pair it with something that emotionally
and tonally
coincides with the song.
There Should Be Unicorns by the Flaming Lips.
Heading down one of the side roads to get to work, and I was listening to a short story, and I was like, oh shit, I got the new song. So I pulled up the new playlist we started, and I started the first couple notes. I'm like, what the fuck? It just
what did Levi turn?
I was like not awake and had no coffee in me. I was like sluggish on my way to work. It's kind of like hit blindsided, you know, you like hit black ice or something. I skidded out. It was a trip.
How would you describe this song? Like if you were to tell someone about it?
Honestly, the first word that came to my mind, this is it makes no sense. This word makes no sense. But the first word that came to mind was viscous. I could almost picture the sound, the way the sound almost moved like a really, really old lava lamp. Like it's struggling, thick kind of liquid that's moving through a not as, I guess, viscous liquid. I don't know. It's goopy and it makes you feel like you're in free form in some form of way. I can imagine if you were tripping, you were on another plane of existence, you'd be in subspace or something. You'd be struggling in a galaxy, floating.
Yeah. It kind of gives you the idea of going in slow motion, constantly. The whole song kind of moves in just super slow Zack Snyder level slow motion.
It's really I feel that because it does feel slow, but for us almost I think it's almost 6 minutes. It moves fast.
Yeah.
The first time I listened to it, I got to that monologue. I think it was Reggie Watts, right?
Right.
That comes in near the end of the song, and I hit that song. It felt like I hit that song 2.5, 3 minutes in, when it's obviously longer than that.
Fantastic voice.
Yeah, he's got a really good voice.
Yeah, it was James Earl Jones level type good.
Yeah, I think that's who I thought it was at first. I was like, wow, that's a big name they got.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so when I went into this, I didn't really look much into the lyrics. I think the music kind of just swept me over. It wasn't in the forefront of my mind.
Right.
It's not what I was focused on.
I think this came to me on Spotify and Discover Weekly or something, and it just settles into yourself as you're listening to it. When I'm listening to music, I'm not good at talking about the musical stuff, right? It's more about how it emotionally resonates with me. Mm-hmm. And this song really burrowed itself deep into my soul.
It's a good song. It's really, really, really good. And I'm shocked I never really heard it before. But I think we talked about this in the past. Flaming Lips to me are either so good, or it's it
right.
just does not it does not resonate with me.
What of them do you like?
I like Soft Bulletin. I think that one's a really good record. Probably damn near perfect. And I think Yoshimi's really good.
Yeah.
I like The Terror. I think The Terror is pretty solid as well. And I kind of like their Dark Side of the Moon cover. I thought that was ambitious enough, and there was some highlights.
I think we're kind of in the same boat with what we like from them and what we don't really care for. Mm-hmm. I love Bad Days so much. Mm-hmm. Partially because my first exposure to the Flaming Lips, for good or for bad, is from Batman Forever. Mm-hmm. Because Jim Carrey's right. Riddler character is listening to it in his little hideout.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Dude, say what you will about Joel Schumacher, but he has a good taste in music.
Oh, that's Lost Boys is a classic. Don't just making that alone, he's already he's good in my book.
Oh yeah. He's brought us a ton of good stuff. And then
Right.
like even just the Batman movies alone.
I don't mind Forever. I think Forever's fun.
Yeah,
Batman and
really
Robin's not
is.
good, but
I think if you're in the right mindset, anybody could
man.
enjoy it.
I don't know. That was one of those movies like I loved as a kid, but I rented it as an adult, and I was like abhorrently shocked. I was like, "This is blasphemous!" Like it was bad.
I'm gonna have you over, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get just hammered, and we're gonna watch Batman and Robin just for
You have a really good track record of bringing good movies, like watching good movies together. So let's try not to break that.
let's go ahead and break it. It's a party movie though. Like it's a great party movie.
There's some
Because
good lines. There's some funny lines. I'm not gonna say
yeah, there's funny stuff. Arnold is hamming it up. Like
very much so.
he didn't phone it in. He's working for that paycheck.
He did.
And he didn't need it at the time either, you know? Like that
He was killing it. Or he already had the 80s. He already stopped
Right.
there.
He was already super wealthy. Like he could have stopped, but he gave us all of those Mr. Freeze puns, which I'm thankful for.
We look at that movie very differently, but that's okay. But yeah, like I forgot that song was in that movie. That's a good song too.
Yeah. And he also gave us Seal's Kiss from a Rose.
Yo, okay, so sidebar on Reddit today, there was a guy who made a compilation of Kiss from a Rose, but sounds of seals. So it's Kiss from a Rose by Seals, and it's a bunch of seals screaming, but it's in like to the beat of Kiss from a Rose, and it's hysterical.
I need to find that. That
It's
sounds amazing.
It's a fucking trip. It's funny that you brought that up because I was like, that video was funny. I wonder if Levi saw that. As far as lyrics go, Flaming Lips always have had this kind of like out there style. Sometimes kind of really doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But the kind of the vibe I was getting, it was kind of like an underground unicorn rave. But aside from that reach, I think the lyrics kind of just remind me of like it's a bunch of unicorns having a rave.
And if we dive into Genius and looking at the lyrics and scroll down, there's an interview with the Future Heart where Wayne Coyne said it's meant to be kind of a wish list that someone reading off to a party planner would say. So at first there should be unicorns, as if unicorns are something you can just order up and have at your party. That's kind of great.
It's like a Bridezilla type deal. It's like it has to be this. If it's not this, I'm gonna kill you or my husband. Right. That kind of shit.
That kind of ties it together a lot more for me.
That's interesting that he says it's kind of like a party planner, or like it's a list for a party planner. That's a really cool way to look at the song, I think.
Yeah, and once you reread the lyrics with that in mind, it makes total sense. Because then like, yeah, there should be Dayglow strippers, ones from the Amazon, some edible butterflies. We put ketchup on some motorcycle stunts that always crash. And if the police show up, we'll bribe them into helping us steal the light of love from the rainbow sluts that live next door.
It doesn't make any sense. That literally doesn't make any sense.
I love it though. With that in mind,
it
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense, but it's fun. Mm-hmm. It has a very particular vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you describe that vibe?
Well, there's two ways I can kind of like look at this. It kind of like it's a very fun, lively vibe. Because it's like, oh, look at this cool party we're gonna go to. There's motorcycle stunts with ketchup on it, which still makes no sense. But or you can look at it in a way from like a party planner, if like we're going that route, almost stressful, because it's like, here's this like tall task, and if it's not perfect to a T, like I'm gonna kill you kind of thing. So that would stress me out.
You can look at it from the point of view of the person singing,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like a riot, but then you put it in the most anxious way possible.
I think it's just work. I feel like work's getting to me.
Right, yeah.
You can't please everyone, man.
Yeah, you can't, Okay, let's get into it then. What is your pick? Because every episode we take the song and put it with something that we feel like emotionally and tonally coincides with the song. And it's a piece of media. So I want to know what you picked.
And okay. So kind of like I said, I didn't really dwell too much on the lyrics. But I did love the idea of being stuck in you're like liquid. You're almost like liquid. You're so viscous. There's a video game I used to play back in like high school, early college, called World of Goo, where you play a pile of goo and you try to like get to the exit in these puzzle games. And I'm like, I feel like that when I listen to this song. I just feel like I could just like float away and like. You remember X-Men? You've seen the first X-Men, right? With Hugh Jackman and all them. Yeah. I'd feel like that water guy, except not as like freaking out,
Man, that guy gave me nightmares, man.
Oh, me too. My parents because that movie came out in what, 01? 2000.
Yeah,
it was
early. Early aughts, late 90s, something like that.
I remember watching that movie, and my parents didn't know about that, and they were like, "Oh, we just let our kids watch this because it's like, oh, it's X-Men. They watch the cartoon. They're gonna watch this show."
Right.
And
yeah,
it did not work out. But yeah, that's my choice. Is the video game World of Goo. Did you ever play that?
I have never played it.
Dude, it's fun.
Dude, you can get it on Switch.
No, hey, look, it's just more games I need. But yeah, that's what I thought of, man. That was like the first thing that came to mind. Because all I could think of was just like being a liquid. It's like, I just wanted to like become one. Like some Lovecraftian shit. Like just...
Right. So the game looks like kind of like a bridge maker.
So it's more, yeah, I kind of misremembered. You're like I can't remember if it's ramps or bridges, but I think you're making structures to like get to a certain end.
It's a puzzle game.
It's definitely a puzzle game though. That I do remember.
Yeah, it's a little whimsical looking in the same way that I would probably describe Angry Birds, right?
Very much so, but it was like kind of out before that.
Cooler. It was cooler than Angry Birds.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean everybody seems to be talking positively about it online too, so
it's fun. I remember it being really fun. You're building certain structures or complete certain tasks, and you use goo as like an adhesive. That was the thing that came to mind.
That's a pretty good pick.
I'm curious what you picked.
When it comes to my pick, when I was listening to the music and then just because the tone of the song kind of has this dark energy vibe around it, but then the lyrics are kind of fun, and you're talking about unicorns and all of this colorful stuff, but you mix in really serious stuff like police coming and bribing them off. The closest thing that really to me sounds like that song is a TV show on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel.
Aloha! Which universe will you choose today?
My name's Clancy. Clancy! Could I interview you for my space cast? Are you worried because it seems like we're all about to die?
Is that a yes? What does death look like to you?
The Midnight Gospel is created by the Adventure Time creator, Pendleton Ward, and then Pendleton Ward and Duncan Trussell.
I've seen this show.
You have?
I've seen like 3 episodes of it. You recommended it to me.
Yeah,
and it's
I probably did.
It's a fucking trip, dude. The one where they're talking about dying and they're going through like a conveyor belt and like a factory. That shit fucked me up, dude. Like I just stopped watching because it was like so I was either so high or it was so existential. I was like, I can't do this. I had to like turn it off.
And I think that's I mean, is it not a perfect pick? Because it's like,
very much so. Your pick is way better. Your pick is way. You put like a lot more thought into it. I was just like, oh, I feel like a liquid. I'm gonna do this game where you played with liquid. Yeah, dude, that show is so good. At least what I saw, like the first 3 episodes were so good.
I freaking love it so much.
And we
So
watched it. I think we watched it together, and it was like the first episode was like
I might have, I think, yeah, when we were, you came to my house and we were watching SpongeBob, and then we watched that for a while, and then I was
hey,
like,
let's watch adult SpongeBob.
yeah, I was like, hold up, let me show you something.
Oh my god.
So yeah, for anyone that doesn't know what it is, basically they take actual podcast interviews from Trestle and they animate around it, and it's really existential conversations wrapped in this very funny and sometimes goofy packaging. The first episode, which we both watched, is a zombie episode.
Yeah.
Where he goes into this world. He does space casts, I think it's what they call it, and he goes to different worlds. And
there's like millions of them he chooses from, right?
Yeah, and so the first
that's what
episode,
it
he goes
seems
to a zombie world that's like overrun, and he's talking to the president. And I don't even remember what they're talking about. They're talking about like microdosing or something. It's something completely unrelated to zombies, and they're just talking about like LSD and stuff while they're shooting and ripping heads off of zombies, and it makes no sense whatsoever. But if you're in the right mindset, you're just like, whoa. I think I've watched through it twice.
I could see how like it could like fuck someone up, like make their like anxiety go up. Like that first episode alone, they're talking about some bullshit when like the world is ending around them and they're playing with it. They're playing around like, oh, this is nothing. This is like, they're so nonchalant about it. And it's so like, it's very daunting. I feel like maybe
there's one episode where they talk about death, and that one really messes with you.
Was that the one where I think is that the same one where they're on the factory belt and they're like getting returned into food? I had to watch that one twice because the first time, like I was telling you, the first time I had to like
you get too freaked out.
I was like, this is too much. Like this is way too much. I'm not in a good head. Like gotta leave. It was fucking nuts.
Well, yeah. So that's my pick.
Dude, that's a dope pick.
So now's the time of the show where Nate picks a song.
Just have like a jingle.
And if anyone is curious, we do have a playlist going, and we will share it. It's just called Soundscape Crusaders, and every episode, we will add the next song.
All right, hit shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
If you don't like it, you don't have to.
I think this is a good song. I don't know what I'm gonna pick.
I was stuck on this one for a whole week, and I didn't come up with my thing until a couple hours ago.
I'm impressed.
And the song of the week is Nate.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you had like your radio like announcer DJ voice on.
It's your pick.
We're going to. Okay, we are going to be listening to Just a Phase by Incubus. We'll see what happens because I don't know what I'm going to pick. Have you heard this song? You know who Incubus is, I assume.
I know who Incubus is, but I'm not familiar enough with their work to, for it to click right off the bat. Like I said, I'm a music idiot, in short. So that's basically what we're working with here. I think you have a greater respect and knowledge of music, and I think that's why this is going to work, because I can ask you questions.
Your pick was way better than mine, so you're hyping me up, and I've already like not done too hot. But no, I mean, this is like, to me, I guess I can like kind of like give you a little preface on this song. So like everyone, when you think of Incubus, you probably think of like Drive or song like, what's another good one? Probably Drive. I mean, that's like the big one everyone thinks of.
Right.
This is one of their better hits, but it's like a hidden gem kind of deal. So off of their record, I think is their best, but a lot of people would probably disagree. So we'll see.
Thanks for listening. Next episode, we will be discussing
Just a Phase by Incubus.
Follow us on Twitter at Sound Crusaders for upcoming episodes and a link to our Spotify playlist. Until next time, good morning, and in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And it will be inside me and